What really makes us better people is our capacity to question the status quo to achieve positive change. If you are seeking to adopt new habits, to learn about a kind lifestyle, low-waste living, and speaking up for justice, you have come to the right place. Together, we will make the switch that will light up this world. I'm Morgan, and I'm happy to welcome you on this journey. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to this new episode of the Positive Switch podcast. My guest today might seem familiar to those who are watching.
This haircut is definitely not familiar.
This haircut is not familiar, it's true. Brand new change for you as for me. And today it's going to be a bit emotional, maybe a bit of nostalgia here and there. And yeah, I don't know, this topic was quite dear to my heart because I know that some who will be listening to this or watching this, we already know about the story, but I think some people don't, who might know us. And basically today we just want to, to ramble? Yeah, to just ramble, chit-chat a little bit on our story, how we met.
I think there's another word, but I'm not finding it. Rambling or wandering. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, how we met, how everything began, how it evolved, and what were the struggles that we had and maybe still have. And would you like to begin?
So where? Where should I begin?
Well, I guess
a long time ago.
Okay, we basically met each other through animal rights activism.
True.
And we just came to know about each other through social media first.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Instagram.
Yeah. I think I started my Instagram channel for activism reasons. And then, of course, the Instagram algorithm recommends all the profiles or accounts to you of everyone who
might be
relevant and everyone who you got in contact with.
Oh, okay.
So, physically.
Yeah.
Because they are observing where you are, and they observed that we were close to each other at the Cube of Truth in Cologne. Mm-hmm. And this happened with other activists as well, so Instagram recommended me your profile. I not subscribe, I
followed?
Yeah, exactly, you. And that was the beginning.
And I followed you back.
That's what you do.
That's it. There you go. No, just kidding. And then, I guess we hadn't really gotten in touch, get to know each other first. We just maybe chit chat a little on Instagram, but it wasn't
about food. I think
about food. Yeah, I think mostly food. Yeah. Definitely, that's for sure. And then I organized an event which kind of triggered your interest. Mm-hmm. What was that?
It was a 0/low waste workshop that you prepared in Cologne. Mm-hmm. And I think I wrote you a message the day or the day before if I could still join. Mm-hmm. Was it the day or the day before?
I'm not sure.
Irrelevant. So I joined.
Yeah. And now I would remember replying, oh sure, the more people the better, I'm so happy if you would come, I would be quite honored that if you came.
Yeah, the workshop took place in Cologne in a park in the city.
Mm-hmm. About 2 years ago.
Exactly. With, I don't know, maybe 6-7 people in total.
Yeah.
and it went on and on and on, and you did a good job. And I thought at that point, when I drove home, I thought about the idea that it might be cool to. At that point in time, I was doing a online study for a nutritionist, and I was always thinking about that I might do workshops or seminars in the nutrition rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought at that point it might be very cool to do something together with you,
Mm-hmm.
to show people how to eat nutritionally or nutritious foods and how to prepare it and on. And at the same time, show them how to reduce their waste or the ecological footprint or what have you.
Yeah.
And I paid you €5.
You did?
Yeah, sure.
Sweet.
Everyone did.
Yeah, that was like recommended for the work I put in there. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, because like you just told me about this, like your interest maybe to make a workshop with me, like when we got together, after we got together. But you never told me before.
No.
And so that went by, and then end of 2018, I was in a relationship with an animal rights activist, which didn't end up anywhere, because I guess that was just what the universe wanted. And
I don't know.
Well, I'm thankful that it happened that way. Now looking back, because I wouldn't have wanted it to be in any other way. And so that was the end of 2018, and it finished. It ended up beginning of 2019, and then I was like in a phase where I was like trying to reconnect back to myself and just heal from that breakup, and it was a hard time, and I was thinking, what is wrong with me? But maybe there's nothing wrong with me. It's just like it wasn't meant to happen, and I just gotta stay open for new things and new opportunities and whatever comes on my way. And then in February, so during that breakup time, I took a step back from activism, and for my birthday, I went to London.
Yep.
And after when I came back, I decided to get back into activism because I went to Unity Diner as well, and that kind of maybe inspired me to just come back. And you had a workshop.
Exactly.
So first I went to your workshop, and I guess it was like
It was to give a little of context. It was a workshop for Anonymous for the Voiceless, or for the Anonymous for the Voiceless chapter, primarily in Düsseldorf, which I organized at that point.
Yeah.
And we were, I don't know, the room was full, 30,
it was
40, I don't know.
Yeah.
Packed, and just talked about activism, street activism, ways to approach people, and got through some questions of activists and on and on. And we was in Düsseldorf, and we right now live in Remscheid.
Yeah.
And at that point, I lived here as well.
Yeah.
And I had to go back home after the workshop, and you had to go back to Düsseldorf. And I think two fellow activists took us by car to the train station.
Yeah.
Right, and we did take the same train.
Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah.
And a little bit after you had to get out in Düsseldorf main station, I drove home.
Yeah.
An hour later.
And already at that point, like I just felt like I was clearly just captivated by your workshop, and I was like something was like starting to take birth in me. I don't know how to explain this. Like something was just like born again in me. Like you just triggered my interest, And I remember when we waited at the train station together, or when we were already on the train.
I think we missed the train even. I
Yeah,
ran
maybe.
after a train, but it was
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But what I remember is I told you about...
I missed so many trains, I can't comprehend that.
What I remember is I told you about the experience that led me to stop drinking alcohol.
Right.
Which is basically when I puked in the underground, in the subway. And you laughed a lot when I told
funny.
you that.
And you thought you had fucked it up at that point.
And when I was like, what the, like, why am I even telling him this? Like, it's probably gonna just turn him off. But yeah, after this, I like really got back into activism, and I just started like to help you taking the stuff, like all the computers and screens, like all the material that we have to take to the cubes. I was helping you every time.
Yeah, because it was in the cell or in the apartment where you lived with your flatmate.
Exactly. So all that stuff, like all the...
But the stuff had been before you joined him in the flat.
I moved from a city near Cologne to Düsseldorf, and where I was living with my flatmate in Düsseldorf, basically in his
cellar?
No. In his damn it, what's it called? In his basement. In the basement, I guess it's like the main basement of the building where everybody's got like some storage.
Well, isn't it cellar?
I don't know if it's called the cellar.
I'm pretty sure it is. We'll check it out later.
Okay, maybe the cellar, whatever.
Because I remember from school is that the word was quite similar to the word Keller in German.
Okay.
But anyhow.
Well, I don't know. But yeah, that was where the things were stored. So you would come every time, like before the cube, to take the stuff, and then after the cube we would both take the things down there. And
one more small anecdote to the train ride where you told me that you puked into the subway. When we waited for the train, you told me your favorite way to make chocolate, hot chocolate.
Oh yeah, right.
With almond butter, dates, some water and spices maybe.
Yeah.
And I got home, and maybe that evening or 1 or 2 evenings later, I made it and I sent you a picture. And it looked very creamy. I know.
Sweet. Yeah. Yeah, so basically we're taking the stuff to the cube and back from the cube, and it was in a phase where I wasn't quite sure about the level of my German, and I wanted to feel more confident about it so that I could speak properly German with passers-by during the cubes and explain to them what was happening on the footage to the animals. So I wanted your help on this, and at the same time I thought...
That was all a lie.
No. And at the same time I thought I could combine this with getting to know you better. So I asked him, like, would you mind coming to my apartment to explain to me, like, some specific vocab about what's happening there in German? And maybe afterward we can cook together and then go to the cube together. And so you came, and I think we talked for a long time, and you were you were starting to wonder, like, okay, when does she
and then I reminded you, okay, how about talking about your actual question, the reason why I'm here? And you were like, oh yeah, right.
And I was like, because I was just like so into it. I was just so passionate about like talking with you and getting to know you. I just forgot. So then there was just like a little, just not very much time remaining to deal with this. And then we went to the cube, and I just noticed, like, I just felt good being with you and just talking about random stuff together, but like we seemed to be on the same page and to have lots of stuff in common. And I thought, well, I'd like to reiterate this. I'd like to do it again and just get to know him better. And so I asked you on Facebook, I think, because I remember the blue background of Facebook, of Messenger. I asked you, like, how do you do if you have something quite important to tell someone, but you don't know how to tell them? And what did you do?
I sent you a clip by, I always forget the name, Shia LaBeouf. And he's just standing, just type in YouTube, just do it, Shia LaBeouf, it will come right up, like millions of views. And he's just standing in front of a green screen.
Yeah.
And it's just 40 seconds long, the video, and he's just saying, I can't remember the words exactly, if you have something important to do, then just do it. And then he's like making this funny gestures with his hands and just do it.
Just freaking do it. It's like when it's today, you will say you should have done it yesterday, or you will do it tomorrow. But just do it, and like it's quite motivating. But I didn't have like the eggs, like the balls, to tell you in person. So I took a little, like, post-it, like a little paper note, and I wrote, Mark, it felt good to be with you and to talk with you, and I would like to get to know you better.
Yes, I did.
Spend more time with you out of the cubes and not just at the cubes. And then I just like sneakily, I don't know if that's the word, sneakily, in a sneaky way, I just put it in your backpack during the cube, as no one was watching. If someone did, well, I never was informed. And so then he got back home, and I was expecting an answer.
Nothing happened.
But no answer was coming.
Nope.
And like, I kind of like, I think I hinted like, oh, did you get home yet? And did you have time to pack everything out? And, you know?
On the first day? In the evening?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote something like, yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, get home safely, it's fine. And I was like, clearly saying like, get stuff out of your bag. And then 2 days later, it was like, oh, sorry, like, you're so cute. And like, how cute are you? Then you were. And
yeah, I remember it. 2 days later, for whatever reason, your message just went through my head again. If I got stuff out of my backpack, 2 days later, the thought crossed my mind, and I was like, oh, wait a second. Maybe she wants to tell me something with that. And I just got my backpack out of the closet again and looked in the side pockets. And I found I was like, she must have done something with the backpack, because otherwise she wouldn't have told me or asked me if I got everything out of my bag. For what a ridiculous question, right? And then I was like, okay, there has to be something. And I found something, and I found a paper, and I was like, yeah.
So after that, we got to know each other better. And between like in the time that I waited for your answer, you posted an Instagram post of you bouldering, like before, like years before, where when you were still bouldering. And at that time, I was like starting to really get into bouldering, thanks to a really good friend in the US, Keegan. If you're watching, shout out to Keegan. And I was like, oh my god, like he boulders, that's just like another thing we have in common, and maybe we can boulder together, maybe I can get him to boulder again. And
because I quit like several years ago.
Yeah, and I commented on Instagram like, we should go boulder together. And then when you found the note, you told me, I was already thinking. I already had been thinking of asking you when should we go boulder.
Right.
And well, then we went bouldering, and
At my birthday.
At your birthday, exactly. And for me, that meant a lot because I thought, okay.
I wasn't sure if you knew that it was my birthday that day.
No, I knew.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I knew.
But I didn't want to tell you because birthday is not that important of a day for me.
Yeah, I had seen it somewhere or something, and so I knew it was your birthday, and I was like, wow, like he's just like going out with me, although it's his birthday, and he could be doing anything.
Yeah, I got in the train, I think 7 a.m. or something.
Yeah, wow.
Because we went bouldering at 9.
Yeah.
When the gym opened.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to cook something for you after that, so I had my whole bag was full of stuff for the cube to wear at the cube. I had stuff that I was like my clothes that I was wearing. I had gym gear, so shoes and chalk bags and water and stuff. And then I had pasta, cauliflower, spices, tofu because I cooked some.
It was so full.
Some what is it? Mac and cheese, vegan mac and cheese for you. Because like some weeks earlier, you asked me about my favorite dish, and one of them is or was pasta with cheesy creamy sauce, and you were like, "Oh, you have to do that the next time for me because that evening you cooked something for me for us." Yeah, and I thought that date might be a nice idea, and I had all this fruits, vegetables, and stuff in my bag, or in my what's the word?
Yeah, backpack.
Yeah, backpack.
Or your bag.
Bag, yeah. Yeah, so it was full. It was early in the morning, and then we got climbing at 9. Went climbing at 9, and then we had lunch, and then went to the cube.
Yeah.
And then I went back to your place, and then home.
Yeah. Maybe you went home, or did you eat? Did I make pancakes for you on that day too?
That might be the case.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. Because I was like, have you ever, I make the best pancakes?
You made the pancakes all the time when I was
yeah, and then I was like, oh, I want to show you, I've got this amazing recipe and I can make pancakes for you. So that might have been the first time you stayed after the cube, and then we just talked and talked and talked for hours, and then you went back, took the train quite late.
Yes.
And I think after that, every Saturday, it became our ritual that after the cube, we would just stick around and cook stuff together and eat on the floor.
Yep.
Sometimes from the same plate, very often, I think. And then we would just talk for hours and hours, and we just wouldn't think about the time. It was just or maybe you would.
I always had the time in my head because I had to drive home for 1.5 hours.
Mm-hmm. So.
And if I would go too late, then the train just
there won't be any train anymore.
1 hour or something, and if you miss that, you have to sit outside a cold train station for an hour in the middle of the night. That's not very pleasant.
Nope.
So I always had to figure that out.
Yeah. So a little bit of time just went by.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. What you want to say.
Yeah, 4 weeks after the 1 week before the 24 hours of cube, or one damn day in Amsterdam.
Wait. I'm not there yet.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So, yeah, a little bit of time got by, and then one day I was really, I had to agree with myself that I had fell in love with you, and somehow I would have to tell you that I like you so that you get the message that we gotta make it happen. And on WhatsApp, because I didn't have the balls to say it in person, but we would that's a thing on WhatsApp. We would just text each other and send each other vocal messages all the time. And I told you, all right, Mark, like, I love to spend time with you. I
think that was a messenger.
Messenger?
Yeah.
I think that
Because
was-
I remember. No,
I remember.
Because in messenger you can only talk for 1 minute,
Uh-huh.
and I remember it was like 5 of that in a row.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'll find it on my WhatsApp. Because I know where I was
Well,
when I...
before we went eating together in Düsseldorf, there was definitely messenger.
Okay.
Yeah, you asked for a dinner or lunch in Düsseldorf
Yeah.
on messenger. I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
And
there
when I like sent you this shitty message, where you basically
Yeah, wait.
you coming to that?
Yeah, I'm coming
Yeah,
there.
that was messenger.
So I think we went to the restaurant before that.
Yeah.
I basically asked you out.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, if I would mind
you
to eat something.
to eat something together, and then I was like, okay, what would you like? Italian, Mexican, that, and you were like, or you're the best one to decide, because like you just taste everything everywhere,
Yeah.
so you would be the one to know that. And after that, like I sent you this. I think that was WhatsApp message, and I was like, I really like you. I just love spending time with you, and I just want things to maybe move forward, and I would like to just be closer to you than friends. That was something like
Along that lines.
yeah. And then
Maybe not that clear, but
not that
clear
clear,
enough.
but
I got the message.
it was clear enough. Like you had no excuse.
No.
What was your answer?
It was so shitty. It was so. In German, we would say schwammig, which means
Like a sponge?
spongy. That's the word, I don't know. But basically, I said everything and nothing in that message. Just rambled for a minute about my thoughts and about my university and the things that I had going on. And
what I basically remember was...
And I shot you the message, and then after that, in my head was like,
oh shit.
What was that for a stupid answer? You didn't answer her question, you didn't go to the point, but maybe she's not going to respond. And then you responded by saying, tell me specifically, what do you mean you like me? And I was like,
because
oh my God. I knew the question would come from you.
Yeah.
So that I had to specify some of the things I mentioned earlier that
because we're both animal rights activists. Like, we know how to deal with bullshit excuses from people, and we want them to be specific.
Yeah.
And you said, I remember clearly, you said, like, I don't know how to deal with that kind of stuff.
Right. Yes.
I was like, what kind of stuff are you thinking about? And like, what are you scared of? And like,
and I was like, come on, you know it, I know it, so why am I have to like speak it out loudly right now? We both know what's going on.
Yeah. So yeah, I was a bit like, not quite satisfied after this, and I was like, why? Like, just freaking like say it. Like, I'm making the first step, and you just like have to help me there. And so yeah, after that, we kept on seeing each other after the cubes. And then 1 week before a 24-hour cube in Amsterdam, you stayed at my place. We talked and cooked together and talked. And then it was like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. And you were like, okay, I gotta... Next train, like, I have to take it. Otherwise, I'm not gonna make it home. Like, I won't have any train, and I have to find a place. I was like, then don't worry. Like, if it happens, like, you're welcome to stay here. You can sleep in my bed, or on the couch. I can stay on the couch. You can take my bed. We can together.
I think you even what's the word?
Offered?
Exactly, offered me to sleep in your flatmate's bed or something.
Yeah.
Like, you would sleep in his bed and I in yours, something of that
something
nature.
like that. And So we're on the couch at this point, and there comes the minute where it's over, like the train.
Yeah, it was too late.
No train is going to take you home.
Yeah, it was, I think, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then at the last, maybe it was 3 o'clock, I don't know. It was too late, there was no train, there was no way for me to get home.
So what did we do? We kept on talking until I think it was like 4 a.m. or something. Damn it.
It was ridiculous.
So crazy. And basically,
and I think, and that in the night before we like finally went to sleep, how that looked, I think you will get into. But I remember maybe at 10 or 11 when we just sat there. So we talked for hours and hours and hours, and then we sat there without talking at all for 20 minutes or so. Both were like kind of sleepy, and then we started talking again for another 3 hours.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. And yeah, there came the point where we were getting sleepy, and like you weren't going anywhere. Like you weren't going into my bed. You weren't going.
Yeah, I was expecting you to go in your bed and I'll sleep on the couch.
Yeah, I told you I would stay on the couch.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well, it's not moving. I'm not moving, and I was kind of scared that he was gonna go in my bed, and then we will just like sleep apart from each other. So I was like, I'm gonna pretend I'm falling asleep on the couch, and then if he wants to stay on the couch, he's free to do so. So you had like I don't know what's this called, like a kind of big
chair?
Like a stool, like a moving rolling stool.
Yeah, that you have in front of your sofa to put your feet on.
Yeah, and you had your feet on there, and I basically took a chair, and I had that chair in front of me, and I just had my legs on it, and I fell asleep like this. It was just so fake and so dumb. Like there was no credibility. But yeah, you stayed on the couch, and yeah, basically we spent the night like that. It was the most uncomfortable night that we both.
Oh, it was so awful.
And I remember
there was no way I could figure out any position that I could sleep in.
And then I remember that point where we finally we found a kind of method that worked out okay. I was lying down like on one side of the couch, and you on the other side, and we were basically like our heads were like next to each other,
but not facing each other.
Not facing, but that's the thing. You were sitting like this, facing the thing where you had your feet on, and you lied down right next to me. You did it on purpose to have your head next to me.
Yeah. And
I could feel it. I could see it in my head. I was like, oh my god, it's just right next to me. And if I turn my head right now, it's gonna be awkward because I'm gonna see it. It's gonna see me. But maybe that might be the opportunity to kiss. Yeah. But guess what?
It didn't happen.
We didn't. So dumb. And I could feel like your breathing. Like somehow I could tell you were looking at me.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Were you watching me?
Yeah.
Like
what, the back of your head. I don't know why, but
what were you thinking at that
I don't know.
moment? Like
I think I was thinking about the opportunity that you might turn around and then we might look into each other's eyes. I think that was what went through my mind.
But that didn't happen, like I said. But we got another opportunity on the next day when you had to leave at 7 in the morning. So, yeah, you had to take the first train of the morning to go to work.
No, it was Sunday.
Oh, okay. And I actually, yeah, that's true. And I wish you would have stayed longer. I was like, I was a bit abusing. Yeah. So you left, you opened the door, and you were like 2 meters away from me. Like we said bye, we just like hugged. And I was like, Mark, wait. And then you came back. And I
wasn't out the door already.
Yeah, you were almost
on the way.
Yeah. And then I was like,
Mark. Just stop touching you, was on the way to do a step, and then you said, wait.
Okay. Yeah. And then I did.
Yeah. That was the other side.
I know it was the other side. I gave him a little kiss on the cheek.
Yeah, and I was paralyzed.
And he was just freaking paralyzed. He didn't say anything.
Just gone.
And it just went. Yeah. It just went to take the train. And I closed the door. And I was just so mad at myself. I was like, what the hell was that? Like, why did I even do that? Why didn't I even have the idea to do that? I looked so dumb. It was just so pathetical. I was just like a little girl. Like, I was so freaking mad at myself. And at you, because I was like, why the hell wouldn't you do anything? And yeah, so still another opportunity that was missed. Then 1 week later, like I said, there was this 24-hour Cube of Truth in Amsterdam. And as you went there, as you drove there, you had...
Oh, before driving there.
Before driving there, you had in mind that maybe during that weekend, you could have the opportunity to kiss me.
Right. Yeah, because it was a 24-hour Cube.
Yeah.
We both knew that we would spend the whole night there. Because there was no apartment or nothing where we could sleep. And just didn't book anything.
Yeah, on the street.
So we just stand outside in the Cube for 24 hours, the whole night. And I was like, maybe during the day it might be too crowded, too full to kiss you, but I think during the night it might be a nice idea in front of a nice building around the Cube or something. And I also had in my head, there was the opportunity, I didn't ask anyone, but I'm not sure if I didn't tell you about that. And I had the thought to kiss you, but before that I wanted to go to someone with a camera, because there was a bunch of photographers, and I wanted to ask one of them, and then would like tell him or her, watch me for the next 5 minutes, and then you will know when you have to take a photo. And I just would have taken you to wherever. Yeah, I just wanted to kiss you. But it didn't.
But it didn't happen. Yay, another opportunity. And that was...
And because the night was so long, it was so tough, it was cold.
Yeah.
Whole night of activism, and I had to do 2 organizer shifts in a row.
Okay.
Yeah, so opportunity was over. We went home the next day with 3 other girls in my car.
Yeah, and explain that.
Yeah, but for whatever reason,
one of the girls massaged him on that way back, and I was sitting behind next to her, and I thought I was going to just like strangle her.
That was so funny.
And I knew
it was even a bit awkward for me.
Yeah, I knew he was embarrassed. Like, he might have been thinking, oh no, like, I don't want Morgan to get confused. Like, I like her, I don't want her to think otherwise.
Yeah.
And so what happened, he had to drop the 3 girls off.
2.
We were 3.
Yeah.
So first he dropped one off in Essen, which is a German city. And then the 2 remaining...
Which makes sense because it's on the way.
It's on the way. And the 2 remaining ones are this girl who massaged him and I. And this girl, like, she wanted to you to drop her off at the train station in Düsseldorf. And I thought, well, I hope he's going to be wise and drop her first off at this train station and then drop me off last, especially knowing that on the next day I would be flying to Maui, Hawaii, for 3 weeks. And that before that, if he doesn't do anything now, like for 3 weeks, it's opportunity missed.
It didn't even cross my mind for a single second.
Exactly. So what did he do? He messed up again.
And you lived like 2.5 minutes from the train station apart. So your flat was just basically at the train station, just 2 minutes by car or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't have been a long way, an extra way or something. No. I don't know why I dropped you
and
there
I was
first.
so messed up.
Idea.
And I remember when I got off the car, I told you, well, I'm sad because I was planning on maybe doing something, but now I guess it's fucked up, and I'm just like. And then on that night, I basically cried. I was really confused. I didn't know what to do anymore. I felt really hopeless and just desperate. And I thought, you know what, Morgan, just like leave it out to the universe. Like, if he wants you, he will find a way. But for now, I've done my part. I've fought enough. I've sent you enough messages, clear messages. So, yeah, and I sent you a WhatsApp vocal message on that night, and I told you, like, yeah, I'm just, like, nostalgic from the whole 24 hours of truth, and there's something I wish I had done, and it didn't happen, and I know you knew what I was talking about. So then, here I am, off to Maui for 3 weeks, and I left with the clear, determined idea that I wouldn't get in touch with you first. And I think about like 1 week later or so, you sent me a vocal message. You wanted just to have some news, and you told me, yeah, there was a cube, and it just like it didn't feel the same without me, and that kind of stuff. And you were looking forward to having me back. And you sent me your first selfie, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's so cute." Yeah, and then 3 weeks went by, and on the week I got back a Wednesday, and then you wanted to know that I arrived well and everything went good, and then came our first cube together after 3 weeks.
Yes.
And I was very happy to see you. You were happy to see me. And like at every cube, I wanted to kindly help you with all the stuff to carry back.
Exactly.
But this time the things weren't stored in our apartment, like in the cellar anymore.
It was a new apartment.
It was another apartment. And I wanted to help him, but like suddenly just for whatever reason, normally I would be the only one to help him,
exactly.
and like nobody else.
Oh yes.
Nobody else would want to help, and suddenly.
And I was like, okay, during the cube, we did not talk that much because that's not what the cube is about.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, that's no problem. After the cube, we're gonna eat dinner together like we did 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cube was over, and we had to pack the stuff together. And normally there was barely anyone helping me out.
Mainly just I.
You or maybe another person here and there.
Yeah.
But mainly it was just the two of us, which was fine because we went to your place anyhow. But for whatever reason, that day, three people offered me their help. I was like, no.
No, not today.
No, why today? Yeah, I don't know how. Oh, they helped me, and you went home.
I know.
Yeah, because I was thinking about how I managed the situation to get them out of there so that you can help me, but I didn't. And you have to ask her now if she goes home. And I asked you, "Do you go home?" Sure. Where else am I supposed to go?
And I knew he was asking that question because after getting rid of the stuff, he would just like surprise me and come to my apartment and eat with me, which you did.
Yep.
But like just to be sure, because I knew you wouldn't look at your phone anyway, because you just don't. But I still send you a WhatsApp message because I
had no like what's the word?
Yeah, you didn't have like,
any internet access.
Yeah.
If there was no Wi-Fi. So.
Yeah. but I sent you a vocal message, and I was like, just feel free to come at my apartment if you want to hang around and cook and stuff.
But I actually read the message later on the night when I got home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I got back there, I told my flatmate, I think Marc is coming, like he's just gonna surprise me. And then you just like rang at the door, and then I got the phone to hear who's down, and you're like, hey, it's Marc. And I was like, yes. And then your excuse was that you wanted to see the photos of Maui. And so we did that, and we ate, and we talked for hours, just like as per usual. And then you went back home. And then what happened was that 2 days later?
Was it?
Well, on that evening, you told me I was a wonderful person. That was a Saturday night. And then the Monday was a holiday.
Was that week?
Yeah. Yeah, it was right the weekend.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So what did you do?
It was Monday morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
at 9.
Well, so no work that day because it was a Feiertag.
A holiday.
A holiday, okay.
Yeah.
10th of July.
June.
Not July, the first one. 6th.
June.
12th. Yeah, June.
June the 10th.
June the 10th.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We just celebrated.
I know. It's not my first language.
It's okay.
Basically, so nobody had to go to work that morning, and you were off to do a wellness trip to a sauna in Cologne with friends.
Yeah.
And I remember I couldn't sleep well that night because something was stuck in my head. I felt it not that good. And I got up in the morning early, like I always do. And it was summer, so it was bright outside. And I knew I had to tell you the truth. But I wasn't able to do it at home. For whatever reason, I didn't feel that was the right place. And I had to do some steps to get my mind working. So I tied my shoes and went outside in the forest, like 5-10 minutes from here. Actually, from where we live now. Yeah, and then I got outside, walked for 10 minutes in the forest, and I knew I had to tell you. And then I put some music in my ears to motivate me, and I put the song in my head that we listened to during the 24 hours of Cube in Amsterdam, one damn day. And it was a special mix of the song, what's it called? By Linkin Park.
In the end.
Yeah, right. In the end. And we listened to that song like during 24 hours a gazillion times. And I really fell in love with the song because I like it. It was very powerful. And I put that in my head to motivate me. And I was like, okay, when this song is over, I have to tell her. And then I sat down on a damn tree trunk. And I told myself, okay, Marc, you're going to sit down here on this freaking trunk. And you ain't gonna get up unless you tell her. And then I opened my phone, opened WhatsApp, and sent you a WhatsApp message. Of course, it was delivered when I went home to have Wi-Fi access. Yeah, and the first, I think, was 3 minutes. And the first 1.5 minutes was just the usual rambling around, like you're a wonderful person. Told you that a million times, and many times. And I don't know, I mentioned a few other things.
Yeah, when you hear me or see me or...
You know, I always look forward to seeing from you and see pictures of you, and it makes me smile, makes me feel good. And then out of nowhere, well, for me it was not out of nowhere, but for you when you listen to it, it was out of nowhere. I just finished the message with, and I think I fell in love with you, and now it's out, and that's it. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got up and went home and waited for a response.
Yeah, waited for 2 hours.
Yeah. And I could see that you heard the message because there were 2 blue ticks.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, no.
Yeah. So.
What do you want me to do? I told you that I love you. Now nothing's coming back.
Well, you made me struggle for a long time, so you could wait 2 hours.
Oh.
And yeah, basically, I received his message. I think it was 9 a.m. And somehow, like, my heart just knew that was the message. And
before even listening to it.
Yeah, I didn't want to open it. I was a bit scared. And when I started it, the first thing I hear is like, so. Real talk. I gotta let something out. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, what the? I just paused. That was just 5 seconds. And I paused. Like, my heart was beating as hell, like fast as hell, because I knew it was coming. But at the same time, like, my little demon inside was like, what do you think? Like, do you think he's gonna tell you he loves you? No. I was like, that can't be true. And then, like, I let several seconds play. And then I paused again. And my heart was still beating. So
take a breath.
So I was like, yeah, I gotta breathe. And then when you say, I think I fell in love with you, he just said it so fast in German. And my German was not like the best. And I was like, oh, shit, did I hear that? Like, did he just say he loves me or not? So I made sure I asked my flatmate, like, if that was right.
That's so funny.
And he said, yeah, he said he loves you. And I was like, oh my God. And then I went to the bathroom and I danced and I jumped around. And then, well, I was just like under shock. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do my little morning routine, like calm down and think about everything I have to tell him, and then I will. And I think my answer wasn't like wow, like.
No, it was basically the same answer that I gave you. That we talked about this.
Yeah. Yeah,
spongy,
liking each other, and
exactly.
But I basically told you like it feels great to hear it. Like I feel like it's a dream.
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah, you told me that you're not sure if that really happened.
Yeah. And therefore I had to process it.
And I was like, what the hell does that mean now?
Yeah. But basically I was like...
And when my phone rang and I saw your message, then you replied to my message.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's coming. What's coming now? And I had to lay on the floor and then played the audio.
Oh.
I was like, I can't sit. I have to lie on the floor.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
On the balcony.
Yeah.
Face down.
So basically, that was the day where you told me you loved me.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't the day when we first kissed.
No.
Because that took another, 2 days.
Yep.
You asked to see me because you couldn't wait. You didn't want to
wait till the weekend.
Wait much longer. So that was the Monday. He told me he loved me, and then on the Wednesday we decided to go Boulder again together. And somehow I was late because like I got late out of work. Mm-hmm. And when we meet there,
and actually the train that I took to Düsseldorf after my work just paused halfway through for whatever reason. Person on the rails or something, I don't know. So I just stopped.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had my bike with me. And I was like, no, not today. I'm going to get to Düsseldorf on point. I'm going to take my freaking bike and I'm going to ride there. And then I rode my bike to Düsseldorf, to the gym, and made it in time. Mm-hmm. But you were late out of work.
And so when I arrived, I was like, okay, I hope he's gonna kiss me. Are we gonna kiss? Or And basically we hugged. And I was like, okay, that's not a good start. That's not how it's supposed to
And
be.
I planned to kiss you in the gym,
Okay.
but didn't.
But it didn't happen. So we bouldered, and you had made a delicious smoothie.
Yes.
And gave me a mango.
Yeah.
From food sharing. Super cute. I was like, oh my god, he's so cute.
A present for you, it's a mango.
Yeah. And so that we were done bouldering. Still nothing happened.
Nope. Not even a touch.
And you soon had to take the train to go back home.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's about like 10 p.m.
Earlier. I think 9:30 or something.
And you have to take the train at 10?
Yeah. Something
okay,
like
yeah.
I was home at 11 or 11:15 or something, so I had to take the train around 10.
Yeah, so 10:30.
Yeah, basically we just went from the gym to train station.
To the train station.
And you asked me, well, how do you feel now after telling me the truth?
Yeah. Oh, it's true.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I feel great, I feel free. Everything's good, everything's fine.
Yeah. And we weren't even holding hands.
No, nothing. Just
nothing.
Walked down the streets.
And it was just so awkward. And I was like, okay, I cannot let this end like that. And I was like, okay, what do you want to do? Because like, there's not much time to go back to my apartment to do anything, cook anything.
Yeah.
And I just saw there was this little park, like a playground with a swing for
behind the train station.
Right behind the train.
So I was about to enter the train station.
Yeah, exactly.
You were like, okay, we have some minutes here. Let's like rest.
Yeah,
talk
let's
couple
just
minutes.
sit for a little while because we have like 30 minutes in front of us. And so there was this swing on the children's playground. And you were somehow like scared of like swinging a lot.
I'm not scared, but it makes me like
feel
uncomfortable swinging.
And I was swinging very high, and we were just having fun and talking. And then I was like, okay, I gotta get him to kiss me because
we talked about weed, smoking weed.
Yeah, true. Yeah, how it feels and.
Yeah, exactly. And I never did drugs. I'm not planning on doing them. I won't do them. Let's put it that way. So talking about like cocaine.
Yeah.
Not any psychedelic experience. Yeah. Not planning on doing that, but never say never. But I'm never gonna do drugs. Mm-hmm. And actually, I said to you, maybe not directly. I didn't say it directly. But I was trying to get out that it might be a good idea for us to consume, I don't know, brownies or something together to come closer. I didn't put it that way, but I tried to express it to my words that you get the message without me having to specifically
say it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that didn't win.
Yeah.
Went
and
well.
Then I was like, well, that's funny because we were talking about weed, and I remember smoking some weed at a party with a friend, and like some people around at that party were playing that game, which basically consists in like talking with shme, so the sound shme at every beginning of every word. So basically, I told you I told you we're gonna play a game, and you have to guess what am I saying.
And I was like, oh, no, what a silly game! I just want to dig a hole, get in there, and get out of the situation.
So I asked the question: how many more notes do I have to put in your bag so that you finally kiss me?
Yeah. In German with the schm in front of every...
In German with schm at the start of every word. And so maybe the first time he didn't get it.
No.
But like the second time he
I did get some pieces.
Okay. But the second time...
I think I got it the second time.
You got it. And he was pretending still not getting it. Just as if we had so much time.
The thing is, I heard it the second time, and the first second I didn't got it, but then it went through my mind, and I was like, oh shit, I think I got it. And I was paralyzed again.
Exactly. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, by now.
And you were getting angry.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, come on. And
keeping in mind that I had to take the train home and it was late.
And
we didn't have much time.
We maybe had like 10 minutes left to kiss and hug. And so it was like, oh, I see now. And I was like, oh my God, now it's coming. And then he got up from the swing. And it was like, well, I guess now we can change this.
Yeah, we did.
And then he took my little chin.
Yeah.
And we kissed and hugged for quite a long time. And it felt so good. For me, it felt like really like freedom. I was like, I don't know. Like I just had like butterflies on getting out of my belly. And it's a bit creepy actually. Yeah. And then you got on that train and I remember like I had never seen you smiling that much. Because like when you get to know Marc the first time, like he seems a bit cold and like closed, but that's really not what it is.
And it depends on what I'm doing. Usually what I do, I'm always very concentrated.
Yeah.
And with cubes or something, I'm always observing everything, that everything is fine and goes well and everything, and everyone is fine and everything runs properly. Yeah. And when you meet me at the gym, I might look angry because I'm concentrated and focused on whatever I'm doing. I'm always like focused on the thing that I do.
Yeah.
So it might seem, if you catch me on when I'm doing something, while I am doing something, that I am a bit cold or sad or there's another word.
Introverted.
Melancholic.
Melancholic.
Melancholic. Depressed, whatever.
Yeah, but like really trust me in person, like it's another deal. Yeah, and then you messaged me and told me it was like the fastest train ride you had because you just only thought about me and us kissing.
Yep.
And now it's been over a year.
And we kissed before I went in the train.
Yeah, and we kissed before you get on the train. You were like...
The first goodbye kiss.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
before
sad.
that it was goodbye hugs.
Yeah, true. Yeah. That's it. That was basically the whole story.
And then when I met you again at the weekend for the cube, I went to your apartment, you opened the door, but stayed in the kitchen, which I don't know how people do that, just opening the door and disappearing again. Entered the flat and was, okay, where is she? So I went in the kitchen and saw you, and I was like unsure how we're gonna say hello to each other. Are we gonna kiss, hug, smile, whatever? And we kissed. And, okay. Last anecdote to close this up, because it's funny. We went in the park to eat something, and after that we just lay down the grass and stared into the sky. It was a little bit awkward. We weren't hugging or touching each other, just lying next to each other, doing it without doing anything.
Nothing.
And you were quite rudely asking me, so are you gonna kiss me or are you too shy or something?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was
or
like,
are you shy? Yeah.
It was basically like, in English it would be like, are you gonna kiss me or what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you here for? And that was a bit direct, but I thought, okay, gotta end the awkwardness. And now that we're finally together, united, like, I want to kiss and hug as much as possible. Yeah.
That's it.
But what I realized through this podcast is that now we have, whenever we want, we can hear the complete story over and over again.
There were so many things happening in between, and anecdotes and awkwardness and lunch or dinner together in the restaurant.
Yeah, that was pretty awkward.
There was some awkward situations, messages back and forth.
Yeah, The messages were always, I think the messages that was where we were like the most ourselves. Like there was no boundaries. We were always just like sending back and forth, and we were having fun doing it.
Yeah.
So that's the story, and yeah, I think it feels good just to look back and remember, feel a bit nostalgic, and maybe get the feelings back a little bit in your belly. And yeah, I struggled. You struggled too. There was lots of awkwardness, but I'm just so happy that's the story now. And I have no regret whatsoever, even if at some point I might have been really pissed and very pissed and completely desperate. Like I thought many times I was going to give up and just stop having any interest in you, but I couldn't. It was too late. You trapped me. Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
I'm out.
And now we're gonna enjoy the rest of the evening. Wish you a beautiful rest of your day, whenever that is. We hope you enjoyed that story. Don't hesitate to share your stories as well. And I will see you in the next episode.